Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you who watched this video. I hope you enjoy it. And today we're talking about Friday the 13th, part 2. This movie picks off with the life of the sole survivor for part 1. We see her in her home being basically traumatized from the events that she went through in the first movie. It's kind of got you a little bit of a Scream vibe, the very first Scream way back in the 90s with Drew Barrymore, and she's going around the house. They kind of borrowed from this movie. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to stick to it. So we have this sole survivor, just like in the first Scream movie, the original Scream movie here. She hears noises. She gets a phone call. There's nobody on the other end of the phone. But before all that good stuff happens, basically the writers, the director, gives us a flashback of all the events that happened in the first movie, just in case you forgot. So basically, she's dreaming about this stuff that happens to her in part 1. And so we get a good old PTSD thing, and then she gets phone calls and good old scare tactics with the kitty cat. And then she gets stabbed in the temple. Spoiler alert, but that's the first 5 minutes of the movie. Plus, this movie's, 43 years old now, I believe? Something like that. Was it 80, 81? No, this one's B2. Anyways, let's move on, right? So this movie is basically this part of the scare tactics for about the first half. You see people, hearing noises, so they check it out, and then turns out it was just nothing, and you just get the music, and then boom, nothing happens. So the writers and the director, they're kind of teasing us there through the first part of this movie. And then about the second half of the movie is when it really gets to the good old killing stuff. And this movie does have some pretty cool kill scenes in here, You got the good old wheelchair man here. And as soon as I saw this guy in a wheelchair, I was like, this guy is dead meat. And lo and behold, he catches a flying machete in the face, which is probably about the best kill of the movie. I mean, why do we watch these slasher films, One, for me anyways, you see your little cast of characters here. Here we got our little counselors. And then you try to decide, okay, which one of these guys are going to survive, And then after you get that past, and that's probably like the only mystery part of these slasher movies. You don't really care about anything else. Just trying to figure out who's going to survive this madness. I guess that might be for all horror movies where you got a large cast. And then the second reason why you watch it, you want to see people, get killed in fantastical ways, right? So you just want to see how the bad guy does it and why these people meet their demise. Basically, it's what you're watching slasher movies for. Or am I just speaking for myself? Let me know in the comments below. Is that why you watch slasher movies? To see how the villain kills the good guys here? So you get that one, it's a pretty good one. And then you got the good old double kill, of course. If you don't know by now, if you're watching this video, you probably know now, like, the rules of who gets killed if you're doing promiscuous acts, let's say. You're usually going to get killed, especially in these Friday the 13th movies. And this one, we have a couple doing the no-no here, doing the naughty. Basically, Jason takes a rod, right, and just kills him, right, stabs him right through, which is incredible, because Jason in this movie, he's not the hawking Jason. He's like a skinny dude. He probably weighs like 150 pounds, soaking wet in this movie. He's like the dude that needs to be buffed, right? He's not that Jason anymore. I mean, yet. I should say yet. He's a skinny dude in this one. And, of course, part 2, another thing that distinguishes part 2 from the other movies is he's just wearing a bag over his face, and he has one hole cut out, right, for his one eye. And pretty sure that has to be inspiration that the Resident Evil people got for their chainsaw people, right? The bag over the face, the one eye. Of course, he's not wielding a chainsaw in this movie. But, we got that chainsaw. And unlike the other movies that we're used to with Jason, the walking, stalking type of Jason, this Jason, he's a runner, man. He is a sprinter. His victims are running from him, and he's running after him. So, those are things that kind of like a little different that they changed up a little bit. Overall, I kind of enjoyed this. I'm not like a huge Friday the 13th person. I don't really like horror movies that much. I do prefer the slasher type of horror movies. Just because, I don't know. The more unrealistic or realistic to me, even though there's physical, right? If you get me in like a spiritual ghost type of horror movies, I stay away from those. Too many personal experiences in my life with that kind of stuff. Maybe I was just seeing things, hearing things, I don't know. But that's why I stay away from those. I don't want to invite those kind of spirits anyways into my life. Anyways, that's a whole different topic. But I kind of like the slasher movies if I'm going to watch a horror movie type of thing. And this one, definitely, it seems like there's going to go in one direction. But once it gets past this movie, part 2, then you get the more of the typical classic Jason movies. Pardon me here while I check out my notes here. Make sure I got everything I wanted to say. Overall, yeah, this is a good... I think it was better than the first one, in my opinion. Personally, what I would have liked him to have done is just have like Jason be like part of the counselor group, and then he be killing people that way. Then we got a little bit more of a mystery, like who's doing it type of thing. However, like I said, this is a slasher movie, and we don't really care about the who's doing it so much as how these people get killed. But I do like a little mystery in my life. And I do prefer the ones are like that. That's one reason I think I do kind of like the Scream movies. Is not only are they killing people, but it's also like a mystery and a big reveal of who's the ones doing the murdering. So I would think it would be a little bit better if they would have went with that direction with this, like have him be among the group. But they went in a different direction. And I guess another note before I end this video is if you ever played the original Jason, Friday the 13th on NES, you would find out that a lot of the game from that took elements from Friday the 13th Part 2 and put them in there. I mean, even his little plaid shirt is a little purplish. And in that one, everybody makes fun that he's wearing a purple costume or purple outfit in the original NES. But then, of course, you don't have the bag over his face, over his head. In the NES version, you have the hockey mask. But I'm saying a lot of elements are there. You got the mother's sweater in there, the pitchfork, and finding the mom's altar or whatever you want to call it. And then the game also kind of applies to this as well. But overall, I think... at this point in the series, I think it's better than the first one. It's been like 40 years. Like the last Friday the 13th movie I've seen was when he goes to New York. And you have that great boxer, on the top of the building. And he gets Jason to the edge. And then he's like, take your best shot. And Jason knocks his head off. That's like the last Friday the 13th movie I've seen. Because even then I was like, man, these are getting dumb. But... So, I haven't seen a Friday the 13th movie since the 80s, basically. I watched the first one last year, did a video on it. I figured I just would watch one a year. I don't know why, but this one's pretty good. Anyways, I did enjoy it more than the first one. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about Friday the 13th Part 2. Do you like it? Do you think it's a good one? Do you think it's better than the first one? So far from what I remember, this one might be the best in the 80s. I guess it just depends on your taste of movies. Still got to watch 3 and 4 because I vaguely to not at all remember those. I do remember like scenes from movies from the 80s. I just don't remember what movie they're in. I know there's one where there's like electric cable on top of him and it gets broken and it electrocutes him back to life. I don't know what one that one is. And there's another one where I guess he's stuck with a metal pole and lightning strikes it and he comes back to life. So I don't know what movies those are in, but that's just like stuff I remember. And I do remember, and I'm not even sure where the boxer thing when he goes to New York is. That 6 or 7 or 8? I don't know. Anyways, have a great day. Until next time, bye.